Early in the morning.
Is Central C the biggest rapper to come out of the UK? Before I answer that question, I'm going to answer another question that you've got. I'm sure you're wondering, why is this goofy clown wearing satin panning fierce? I'll tell you why, because I've got a cold sore on my lip and it's in the final stages of healing and it looks a bit butters on camera. So I thought, you know what, let me cover it so I don't have to deal with all that, he's got herpes on his lips. You know them ones there. It will hopefully be gone by tomorrow. I hope you don't mind. Now, back to the topic at hand. Central C has been making music for a long time now, but it was after his breakout tracks Day in the Life, Loading, Molly, that he really started to pick up momentum. It was from 2020 onwards that he started to make massive waves in the UK, Europe, and now America, being the first UK rapper ever to have an album debut in the top 10 in the Billboard charts in the States. Central C is a polarizing figure. Some people love him, some people hate him, some people say, of all the talent we've got in the UK, how is it Central C was the one that made it the most? Whatever you think about Central C, it's undeniable that he's one of the biggest artists to come out of the UK, and the numbers don't lie, they prove that. But is he actually the biggest? I wanted to take a little deep dive into this topic and compare him to some of his peers like Dave, Stormzy, who also have a claim to being the biggest artist out of the UK. So guys, I'd really appreciate it if you like the video for me, if you press that subscribe button, if you like my content, press that bell to be notified. And yesterday's Patreon video was all about exposing the dark truth about the Vatican and all the Vatican's dark secrets. So before I actually get into this deep dive, I have got a very rare sponsorship. Allow me to introduce to you Holy. Holy is the first real alternative to energy drinks, combining that wonderful flavor with a clear conscience. We all know how bad energy drinks are for you, with a truckload of caffeine, sugar, calories. You have to remortgage your house just to buy one, and this is where Holy is different. And when do I ever do sponsorship? So if TJ is endorsing it, you know I believe in it. As it says on their own website, no bullshit, no sugar, no artificial flavors and colors, and under 20 calories per serving, which is great value for money because that's under 80p per 500 milliliter serving in a tub. The taste is great and it's perfect for every occasion. You can get tubs to prepare your drink at home, or you can buy the sachets to have while you're on the road. Me personally, I love the sachets so I can spread it across my arm like a money fan and I can pretend that I'm rich. All you have to do is grab the bottle that comes with your order, pour 500 milliliters of water into it, grab your desired flavor, rip it open, pour it in, shake well, and enjoy. If you want to invest in yourself and support your boy, please head over to the link in the description and in the comments below. Use the code JUICE5 for £5 off your first order with a minimum spend of $14.99, or alternatively, use the code JUICE for 10% off bigger orders. I'd highly recommend getting the starter set. As it's a new year, a new you, make the switch to a healthier alternative to energy drinks. Thank you, Holy, for sponsoring this video. Now back to the Central C breakdown. So let's start by talking about chart performance. Cench properly burst onto the scene in 2021 with Wild West, which actually debuted at number 2 on the UK album charts. In 2022, he then followed that up with 23, which instantly went number 1. In recent years, his song Sprinter with Dave went number 1 and dominated the UK charts for 10 consecutive weeks, which is a record for UK rap, making history. It was also number 1 in multiple countries, including New Zealand, Luxembourg, Australia, and more. It even appeared on some of the US charts as well. But how does that compare to other artists in the UK? Let's take a look at Stormzy. Stormzy's debut album, Gang Signs and Prayer, was actually released in February 2017 and peaked at number 1 on the UK album charts. It spawned 4 top 40 singles, most notably Way Too Big for Your Boots, You're Never Too Big for the Boot, which peaked at number 6 on the UK singles charts. If we look at Dave's Psychodrama actually debuted at number 1 as well and became the most streamed first week British rap album in the UK with 23.6 million streams. It also won the 2019 Mercury Prize and Album of the Year in 2020 Brit Awards. So you can see that Dave, Cench and Stormzy have all had amazing chart success. But let's actually go deeper into the numbers and see where Central C compares. As you can see on your screen, when it comes to Central C songs, Cench has had one number 1 song, and that was actually with Dave, and that spent 10 weeks at number 1. So we can't necessarily give that to Central C as a solo song because it was a feature with Dave, another massive rapper. He's also got 10 UK top 10s, 30 UK top 40s, and 36 UK top 75s. Looking at his tapes then, he's had 2 UK number 1s, 3 UK top 10s, 3 UK top 40s, and 3 UK top 75s. Those are some good numbers. But if we're comparing them to Stormzy, for example, where Central C has had 1 UK number 1, song, Stormzy has had 4. He's also had 15 UK top 10 songs. He's got 32 UK top 40s, which also beat Central C, and he's got 45 UK top 75. When it comes to albums, he's also got 3 UK number 1s, which also beat Central C, but him and Central C are tying for UK top 10s, top 40s, and top 75s. If we're comparing Sench's success to Dave has got 3 UK number 1s, which is more than Sench. He's also got more UK top 10s, more UK top 40s, and more UK top 75s. He's got the same amount of UK number 1 albums, but he's got less UK top 10s and the same UK top 40s and 75s. So if we're looking at chart success in a vacuum, then objectively Stormzy is the bigger and more successful artist. But the thing is with this topic, it's very nuanced. You have to remember that Dave and Stormzy have been in the music industry for much longer. While Central C was making music for a long time, he's had a much smaller peak. So one could actually argue Central C has been more successful because he's done it in a shorter space of time. If someone wanted to argue that point, I wouldn't necessarily disagree with them. But if we're looking at numbers in a vacuum, Stormzy is the more successful artist. If Central C drops another album next year, it's most likely going to go number 1 and add to that statistic. And then he's going to be closer to Stormzy's numbers. So Central C has a claim of really being one of the biggest and most successful chart-topping artists. Now, let's take a look at streaming. It's undeniable that Central C is the biggest artist out the UK when it comes to streaming numbers. With all the careful marketing they do and the timely overseas collaborations with international artists, it's really helped him with consistent streaming numbers across the globe. In 2022 alone, he racked up 1 billion streams on Spotify and was the first UK rapper to ever do that. Doja even became his most streamed rap song ever until he broke his own record with Sprinter. My man's even competing with himself at this point. But obviously, again, Sprinter was featuring Dave, another artist who is massive. So it can't be denied that the collaboration with Dave helped that song go number 1 for 10 weeks. Though he has proven himself with Doja. Me personally, I like a lot of Central C songs. Doja ain't one of them. I feel like the main reason Doja had so much success is because the platform that it was on and because the hook was catchy and it went viral on TikTok.
How can I be homophobic? My bitch is gay.
But whether I like it, whether you like it, whether you don't like it, the reality is the numbers don't lie. He broke UK rap records with Doja and then broke it again with Dave. If we're looking at Spotify's monthly listeners, Central C has 31.1 million monthly listeners, which is absurd. And it's a testament to how hot he is right now and how global his audience is. If we compare that to Dave, who has an amazing 16.6 million monthly listeners, that's nearly half. Central C nearly has double what Dave has. And if we look at Stormzy has a third of what Central C has with 10.1 million monthly listeners. It really can't be denied how successful Sench has been when it comes to streaming numbers. But like, it's also how hot he is right now and how global his audience is. If we're looking at Central C's overall numbers, we can see that he's got over 7 billion streams. As a solo artist in the song, he's got nearly 4 billion, and as a feature, he's got 2.3 billion. 7 billion total streams as of the 8th of February. If we compare that to Stormzy, who has 4.7 billion streams, and Dave, who has 6.2 billion streams. Now, Dave obviously has an amazing amount of streams, but it's still nearly 1 billion streams less than Central C, in a much shorter space of time. So if we're looking at streaming numbers, boy, Central C has got to be the biggest artist out of the UK. And from when you're getting 1 billion streams in 2022, that's crazy achievement. The real test is longevity. You can be hot right now, but have you got the longevity? And listen, I believe he's got a real consistent fan base, so there's no reason why he can't continue this streak for years to come. Now let's talk briefly about awards. Awards doesn't always mean that you are the biggest artist. We've seen in history multiple times artists not getting given Brits when they deserve it, artists not getting given Grammys when they deserve it. So it's not always a testament to how big or successful you are. It's also whether you're on the side of these kind of organizations. So awards are a bit techie, but we have to look at awards because it still can be used as a measure of one's success. So while Central C is the king of streams, when it comes to awards, Stormzy is definitely the king and leading the pack. As of February 2025, he has 35 wins and 90 nominations across various awards, including 3 Brits and 6 Mobos. While Dave has 2 Brits, 2 Mobos, 2 Ivor Novellos, and 1 Mercury Prize Award for psychodrama. Sench doesn't have any Brits because a guy called H beat him to one, but he is tying with Stormzy for 6 Mobo wins, including 2021, 2022 and 2024. In the latter years, he actually won the Best Male Act in 22 and 24. The most awarded artist from the UK is Stormzy when it comes to rap music. Dave is second, and then Central C is third. But I have to reiterate, he did this in a very short space of time. In 3 years, between 2021 and 2024, he's won 6 mobile awards, and he just missed out on a Brit. Now we're going to talk about cultural impact. This one here is a very interesting one. To answer this is very difficult because it's all relative, it's all subjective. A lot of people, depending on what you prioritize, will have different opinions on who has the biggest cultural impact. Because as far as I'm concerned, Central C is the new face of Gen Z rap, and he has impacted culture in his own way. From streetwear to his viral TikToks, he's really the first person to really utilize TikTok to maximize its potential in creating hits and also getting more followers on social media, which seems to be a currency for popularity these days. His impact on the culture is more vibe and influence, which is different, but it's still very, very massive. If we look at Central C, he has 13.7 million followers on Instagram. And when you look at his engagement, he gets like 1 million likes per post, which is crazy engagement. If we look at Santan Dave, he has 10 million followers less with 3.8 million, which is still a wonderful achievement. He has a lot of engagement himself, but much less followers. If we look at Stormzy has 3.4 million followers himself on Instagram, again with much less engagement than the others. Now, I'm not saying that Instagram followers means you've got the culture, but it goes to show how popular he actually is. But where Central C is very different is that I feel personally, from my point of view, that he lacks a certain depth that Dave and Stormzy have. I feel like Dave and Stormzy really touch the culture in a different way. Dave and Stormzy, for instance, are much more politically charged, and they stand for something greater than themselves. They discuss racial issues, and their performances highlight that. Stormzy has definitely been a voice to a generation with his activism, and similarly so has Dave. He's even worked with getting black people opportunities at prestigious universities such as Cambridge and really making an impact and changing lives. Not only that, he's performed at Glastonbury as the headline act. Now, I know Central C has performed at Glastonbury, but there's a key difference between performing at Glastonbury and being the headline act. Stormzy joins a list of incredibly talented artists who have headlined, whether it's Oasis, Jay-Z, Kanye, Beyonce, Coldplay, Elton John. These people have headlined the biggest festival on the planet, and Stormzy is that person as well. That's a massive achievement for himself and obviously the culture of rap music, grime music, and even black people. If we're looking at Dave's music is fearless, it's unapologetic. All you got to do is look at his performance at the Brits where he performed Black. He demonstrated how talented he is, being able to perform in front of that audience, playing a piano and rapping at the same time. That video's got like 14 million views, and it's incredibly powerful. You watch it and you get goosebumps because it's that incredible, you feel me? I don't believe Central C has that kind of cultural impact, in my opinion. But again, it all depends on what you value, because he is the face of Gen Z rap, especially when it comes to fashion and things like that. The way he dresses, it influences a younger generation fashion-wise. If we're looking at collaborations with fashion brands, for example, that are also successful in the culture, Central C has collaborated with Cortez, which is a cultural clothing brand. He's created his own clothing line in Cineworld, which is building generational wealth. He's collabed with Nike, which is obviously the biggest sports brand in the world. You see him with JD Sports, you see him here, you see him there. So when it comes to impacting fashion and dress sense and all that stuff, he's really up there. Now, he claims that he popularized or normalized the tech fleece. That is complete cap. But he does wear a tech fleece a lot. He was even at a friend's wedding or some shit. While everyone's suited and booted, a man's wearing a tech fleece. I'm thinking, rah. Now, Stormzy obviously has collaborated with Adidas, for example, Adidas Originals, and he's been working closely with them for a long time. Dave has also had endorsements from different brands, but I feel like Central C does dominate them when it comes to kind of fashion and collaborating with certain brands. Like, I can't really imagine bare people walking around in Adidas Originals because Stormzy had a line with them, but you can imagine how many teenage boys are now wearing tech fleeces because he's collaborated with Nike, or how many people are now wearing Cortez because they saw a collaboration with Sench. You feel me? So with this one, it all depends on what you value as a human being. In terms of being the face of a new generation and relevant, Central C is really leading the way from fashion and modern kind of marketing techniques through TikTok. But for me, legacy is really built on how you impact people's lives and when you stand for something greater than yourself. So for me, culturally, Stormzy and Dave are clear Central C for me. Now, finally, I want to talk about international success. Central C's recent album, Can't Rush Greatness, has done something that no one has ever done before. It hit the Billboard top 10 in America, debuting at number 9. Not one rap artist from the UK has ever done that. It also went number 1 in the UK, Germany, Holland, Ireland, Norway and New Zealand. It went number 1 on Apple Music's top album charts in 71 different countries and went number 1 on Spotify's top album debuts globally, USA and the UK. And it has the 3rd highest week 1 streams of all time. While he's not the first person to collaborate with international artists, Skepta's done it before, D-Block Europe, Nave Smalls, he's definitely the one who has had the most success with international collabs. As I said, he isn't the first, but he's really put in a lot of effort to grow his international fan base, and it's paying dividends. He's done collaborations with French artists, Italian artists, Nigerian artists. I believe he's put in the most work out of any UK artist when it comes to building international loyalty. Now, whatever you think about Lil Baby, at the time that Band for Band dropped, people were saying that Lil Baby fell off. People were saying that he sounds the same, he's washed up. You could argue that Central C even helped, he may not be the main reason, but he helped bring back Baby's career with Band for Band. He's obviously got a Durkio feature while Dirk's in jail, so Dirk's extra hot right now because there's a lot of controversy around him. Now, me personally, my favourite Dirk features when it comes to UK artists is Young Fumes. Young Fumes is underrated for me. He's got 2 absolute bangers with Durkio. Central C is not the first, but he's really prioritized building an international fan base by making music with international artists. Even if we look at the chart performance for Wild West, you can see that it charted in so many different countries from Australia, Belgium, Holland, France, Ireland, Italy, Lithuania, Norway. If we look at the weekly chart performance for 23, we can see that it's hit the charts in, again, multiple different countries. Again, Lithuania, France, Canada, UK. If we're looking at the chart performance for Can't Rush Greatness, you can see that it's charted in multiple countries. Number 1s, number 2s, top 10s. It even charted on the Japanese Billboard. Sweden, Hungary, Iceland, Finnish, so many charting positions. Me personally, when it comes to international success, I don't believe anyone has had a more successful run than Central C in such a short space of time. Stormzy, who has won awards, who's had amazing chart success in the UK, has never really come close to what Central C has done internationally. Whatever you think about the US is the biggest music market on the planet. Once you start charting in the US, you can really start saying you've made it, you know, globally. Unfortunately, the US, they don't really take our music in too much. And I feel like Central C has really bridged that gap for UK artists, especially when it came to his LA freestyle, where he was comparing US to UK slang. He's very intentional with his freestyles. He's very intentional with his decisions and his moves. And it's decisions like that that help shine a light on the UK. So I believe that he's had the biggest international success and he's done the most for UK recognition across the seas. Now, in conclusion, guys, to answer the question, is Central C the biggest rapper to come out of the UK? The answer is yes and no. It's both. Because if we're looking at international success, streaming numbers and impacting the culture in his own unique way, you can 100% argue that he is the biggest rapper out the UK because he's done things globally that no other rapper has been able to achieve, and he's done it in a short space of time. He's had a lot of chart success and he's won awards. But if we're looking at chart success specifically, awards and a real cultural impact, then you could argue that Stormzy is a bigger artist than Central C. Dave has won more awards than Central C while also having very similar streaming numbers and very similar chart success. So it's a difficult one to answer because it depends on what you value. Can we argue that Central C has really changed lives or moved people with his music? Probably not. And when it comes to critical acclaim, Stormzy and Dave's albums have been more highly regarded than Can't Rush Greatness. I thought Can't Rush Greatness was a great project overall, but some people felt that it was quite repetitive. The flows, the production was amazing, but people felt that the content was the same old stuff. We know that Dave and Stormzy, for example, try pushing the boundaries of their music. Dave even produces his own music a lot of the time. They stand for something bigger than themselves while also having more chart success. So really and truly, it's whatever you think. If we're looking at international success, then he is. If we're looking at chart success, then he ain't. If we're looking at awards, then he ain't. But if we're looking at streaming, then he is. So ultimately, it depends on whatever you think is the most important thing in what defines the biggest artist. I think the only way we can truly answer this question is once it's all said and done, they've all retired, and we can look back in hindsight, retrospectively, and say, you know what? This is the reason why they're the biggest. If Central C raps for another 5-6 years, he could easily dominate Stormzy and Dave. So it's a difficult one, but that's just my opinion. It's ultimately yes or no depending on what you prioritize. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Is Central C the biggest rapper to come out of the UK? I hope you enjoyed this little mini deep dive. There's things that I certainly have missed out on, but I didn't want to make this video too long, so let me know your thoughts and contribute to the conversation in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay vigilant. Peace.